on my boobs. You don't get on my boobs. You don't
She's trying real hard.
Make them fit up to your ears. Sorry, that means that this might be because you're feeling like it's not repressed anymore. Welcome to the Northernist Podcast. We're two friends in fibre who knit, craft, crochet, and talk everything in between. It's episode 254, and unlike Diana's brain, I think the rest of us remember there's Instagram Reels.
No. It's not a thing. They don't exist.
My name is Jocelyn. My co-host is
Diana.
I currently call Winnipeg, Manitoba home, and Diana calls Waterloo, Ontario home. In a difference to, yes, last week's live, it has been a long period of time since you guys have seen us, since live goes up like a week ago when we record, so there's a couple extra days afterwards. There has been some stuff going on. You may have noticed on Monday's post for everybody. This past Monday I did post about the new Cal that's upcoming, and me and Diana are firmly affixed into the Stardew Valley vibe, so there will be probably more farm streaming going on.
Yep.
Because farming, it's the new hot stuff.
I don't think we can say that's the new hot stuff. It's the new hot stuff around here anyway.
Oh, not even for me. I have 400 plus hours on that game.
Okay, well, it's new for the context of the podcast.
New for the context of the podcast. It's a new farm. It's a new farm.
Yeah.
So that's
going on.
Okay,
this is
so much.
Gotta put this up. I thought I was gonna leave it down, but it's nope. It's too warm.
Too warm?
Far too warm.
It's totally fair. So when Diana's done manhandling her hair up into a bun so she doesn't melt to death, she's gonna let everybody know what we're gonna cover this week.
We're gonna cover as I lean awkwardly around my microphone so I can read my show notes. What's in our cup? Woolly workings, wool gathering, and literature. Well, that sounds concise. We are absolutely not going to be concise.
Nope.
It's a Sunday evening. There's no conciseness going on here. Concisity? Is that a word?
I don't think that's a word. No one is going to accuse us of being a Lacedaemonian today. Or ever.
Wow, that's a word.
Because laconic is not a word for us. Lacedaemonians are Spartans. They're more well known as Spartans. Their speech patterns were like to the point and brief. Like think Clint Eastwood, to the point and brief. In his movie roles, like that's what being a Lacedaemonian was supposed to be. Like you were supposed to. The snappy one-liners.
Okay, short and to the point. Well, we are not. Nope,
Mm.
definitely not that.
I have, outside of my teachers in school, I have never been accused of being quiet or short and to the point. I did all the way through my elementary school years. My report cards came home and it said Jocelyn was doing excellent, all that praise you get from elementary school teachers, right? And it would be better if we heard more from her in class. It's like, what child are you grading? This is not mine. Mine doesn't stop talking from the moment he gets up to the moment he goes to bed. What child do you have? She's getting great grades.
Same. Yup.
Got accused a couple of times of lying to the teachers. I'm like, I have no interest in talking in school. I don't. Seems like an easy enough equation.
Yeah, no kidding. Don't feel like it. Don't feel like getting made fun of for being smart today. Thanks. No, I don't want to help this kid that just wants me to do their homework for them. They don't want help.
No, they just want the easy way out.
Oh, I hated that so much. Anyway, let's not unpack that. Let's talk about what's in our cup.
I have mint tea. Mint tea. Because it's minty.
I have gingerbread chai rooibos.
Okay, that was way more words than me.
Yeah, whatever. I have spicy tea. I'm so excited. And it looks so pretty in this cup. I'm so excited. I picked this cup on a whim, but it just it matches the gold on it. And I'm very happy about that choice.
Did you say that your tea matches the gold in your teacup?
It does. Look. Well, I can't really tilt it very well. But,
Don't tilt it.
Trust me.
Cup looks good though.
There's a pretty gold teacup, and then if I bring it down a little bit, then like it kind of matches. I don't know. I thought it looked pretty. I was happy about it.
I'm gonna keep drinking out of my Nightmare Before Christmas mug now.
My tea feels very aesthetic today. Don't judge me. Well, judge me if you want. That's fine. I'll take your judgments. I have aesthetic tea.
There's a little judging going on the side, just a touch.
I have aesthetic tea and I'm happy about it. I will
right.
not accept your judgments.
Okay. I mean, it's not like it's gonna stop you, so.
Absolutely not. Ooh, clatter, clatter.
Right.
So if there's clinking going on off to the side, don't mind my atrocious teacup etiquette.
Oh, it's hard to put china down on a solid surface and not make a clink sound.
Yeah. I've pretty much given up on that.
Difficult. What else we got? We got cool threads coming up.
We actually don't have any cool threads because I've just been wearing the same things that I always do, so like that's boring. Nobody wants to hear about that.
Dude, put a new shawl in your closet.
I know. Okay, I can throw a cool thread. I keep the exploration station in this room for the weird times when it's cold, because sometimes it's way too hot and sometimes it's way too cold. So I keep a shawl in here as a sweater for when it's way too cold.
I'm wearing the same, like, I literally have my Simple Hug thrown on the rocking chair, the habaneros thrown on the rocking chair. I wear all of my cardigans during the week, but talking about the same, whatever, 6 or 7 cardigans I have is like talking about hand knit socks.
Mr. Dine has been wearing his hand knit socks that I finished last week.
Good.
So there's that.
As he should be wearing hand knit socks when they're made for him.
I don't think they made it into the sock drawer. I think they went straight on his feet when we were done recording. And then they've been in the laundry and then they went back on his feet.
Well, he likes those socks. That's good. Because
he's very knit worthy. Sorry, I'm just counting rows here. 1 second.
Counting rows. Well, I can certainly.
I'm counting. Yeah, and got to do the things on the stuff.
Yeah, I had a busy week. Phoned my sister for her birthday. Phoned my dad for his birthday. Talked about the kid who was sick. She got food poisoning. What else happened this week? She didn't like it either. Did not enjoy the experience. Does not wish to repeat ever. Which, fair. I don't think anybody does. What else did I do this week? I started a 2-week sweater challenge with Louise. And I actually had the people in chat that night vote on the sweater I was going to work on. So I came with 3 options and I went with the one everyone voted for because I could not make up my mind.
Oh, goodness. Okay.
That's how things work. What else did I do? I ordered my replacement Swift this week because my Swift is broken. Or it is 2/3 broken, so I'm using it, but oh my God. I'm getting a new Swift.
Yeah, 2/3 broken that's new Swift territory.
It's new Swift territory. We're just getting a new one. I ordered. I'm done arguing with it. I fell down a research hole on which is a better hardwood, beech or birch. 2 different types of trees, 2 different types of wood, people. That happened. Well, I couldn't just order beech or birch. I had to know which one would be better and what the characteristics were for each type of wood. I can't be a carpenter's kid if I can't know the differences between birchwood and beechwood and birchwood.
So what are the differences? Are they relevant differences?
In the case of a Swift, probably not.
Fair. They look different.
They look different. I went beechwood because it is a harder wood, whereas a birchwood is more into the hazel category. So while still a hardwood, it's a slightly different style of hardwood. So I went with a beech. The more you know.
Okay. Yeah, we are continuing. It's time for Woolly Workings. What are we working on? I think you get to start.
Sweaters.
All the sweaters.
Sweater weather.
Sweater weather?
I don't even know where to start. There's so much sweater going on in my life right now. It's just sweater. Sweater all the time.
Sweaters all the way down.
Oh gosh. Yeah, pretty much. I keep rescuing the Atlantic wool from Phaedra. So this is currently her favorite skein. She likes to sleep with it, carry it around places like it's her child, rub her face all over it. So Briggs and Little, good for you. Made a beautiful woolly wool with lanolin that my cat loves. Like capital L loves.
Oh, it's got to be so cute though.
Oh, it's so adorable. I feel bad taking it from her. I do, because she's gonna felt the yarn, but it's hard. Mommy doesn't want to because it's adorable. Oh, all right. In an old chapters book bag. So I don't get to buy books anymore. That's sad. I think that's like the saddest part of going blind so far, is that I can't read physical books very well anymore. I am finally moving to a new ball of yarn, so I'm doing that alternate rows because, well, that's how you don't have stripes in your sweater. Where you don't intend them to have stripes. Hence why I'm doing it. Which is good.
No subtle striping going on here.
Yeah, no. So it's the last ball for the body. I'm worried about how much yardage I have left because I simply hate playing yarn chicken. Oh, do I hate playing yarn chicken? So in my order that's coming, I absolutely put in an extra ball of dark maroon in the Briggs and Little, because I figured worst case scenario, I've got a skein of bulky yarn. Oh no, I have to make a bulky hat or something. Oh, the worst. So I've made some significant progress on a body, considering there was no body last week.
Nice. That is a lot of body.
That's a lot of body. So we're doing it. It's happening. I thankfully do not have to complain about, am I ever going to be done the ribbing now, because I'm out of ribbing. Guys, I don't like ribbing. So this is my Scheme Krieger or Stone Warrior out of Briggs and Little dark maroon. I'm just trying to figure out how to get that up to the camera so you guys can see that stitch definition.
That is some definition. Like,
yeah,
that's gonna look so good.
It's gonna look so good. So I'm making slow progress on that. This is, yes, I said the colorway is from Briggs and Little, so it's going to be beautiful, beautiful woolly wool sweater. I am making the large, so it's not going to be as baggy as it will be for some people for their sizes, but that's because I don't like super baggy sweaters. So it is a thing that is happening. The sleeves are done. They're on waist yarn. They're just waiting for me to finish the body up to the armpits, and then I can start the color work, which will be the fun part. So this is my February sweater for the sweater challenge in February from the Fibre Friends. I did this ribbing so well, it just cinches in that bottom real good.
Nice.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like, that's some very intense ribbing on the bottom of the body of the sweater, and I'm like, might have to stretch that out a little.
I'm going to have to stretch mine out a little because that is.
It is going to stay in place. Like, wow.
It's not curling, that's for dang sure.
Yeah.
No way, no how. So that is the first sweater I have on the needles. And because I only have 3 projects and you have 2, you get to go now.
All right. I'm going to
fill. I have 3? No, you have 2.
I have 2. I'm going to fill this space with words while I finish the last few stitches in this round so that I can hold up what I'm working on while we're recording. Because, hey, surprise, it's also a sweater. And further surprise, it's the same sweater. Same sweater. Okay, last stitch.
Such exciting content going on.
Thrilling content doing the same sweater. Okay, but mine's in white.
Oh,
okay, so let's start with... So that's the body that I finished last week.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody remembers that. I went whoosh and finished a body of a sweater in a week.
And then went, oh my god, bulky yarn for the win.
Yeah. I apparently used up 2 weeks worth of sweater knitting mojo all in 1 week though, because this is all I have for sleeves. I have half of my increases done.
Okay.
So, you know, I was hoping these would be done today. They are not. But you know, they're getting there. They don't whoosh as much as the body. I think because there's all the fiddliness with the 2 at a time and the magic loop, and there's just extra fiddliness, and they don't go whoosh as much.
They do, but oh, it's gonna be identical and you don't have to think about it. Doing the second sleeve, you don't
Yeah.
have to match stitch markers or inch lengths or any of that. You're just like, nope, and I'm done.
Yeah. So they will match perfectly. And I imagine once I get to the color work, the row where I join the sleeves to the body is going to suck. But after that, and I'm into the color work, it's going to whoosh again because it'll be like just one more row, just one more row. It'll be 3 a.m, one more row.
You're sensing a
So
theme for both of us at the tail end of this
yeah.
month.
Plus there decreases after that. So like
I'm not looking forward to that.
anyway, so this is Cascade Ecological Wool. Whatever, it's undyed Cascade. So this is the white. This is the same ball that I made the entire body out of, and now I'm knitting one of the sleeves out of it. I have a second ball beside me that's making the other sleeve, and then I have, oh, hang on. I didn't plan very well.
I swear, guys, we do prep before we start. She could
I
have
know,
put these over.
I remembered most of the things, but then I have this giant thing that's like most of the size of my head. Does it show up better this side? It's like most of the size of my head.
No.
And that's for color work. And then I have 2 more of these grays of the same size. So I think I can do this whole other sweater again in gray with white color work.
You know what's really funny? I know I teased about putting your husband in it. I was told by his brother that that's mean. I feel like his brother has no sense of enjoyment about these things. It
Well,
occurred to me.
I asked him again if he'd be willing to do it just for a photo.
Okay.
And I think maybe he'd be willing to do it just for a photo.
Okay.
He doesn't want to go out in public with me wearing matching sweaters, and that's
fair,
okay.
because
But he'll stand in the
amount
backyard for a picture with me.
of shade that I would throw at him for matching his wife's clothing with a matchy sweater. The amount, and I would not be the worst. His brother would be the worst if he was to actually go out in public with matching sweaters. We would tease him with no mercy. It would be, don't make him do that. Make him take the photos, but don't make him go out in matching sweaters with you. That's not cool. That's not cool.
No, it's not. It's really, really not.
Cool.
I'm aware of this. So yeah, photos for like Christmas cards next year, maybe.
That's
but
fine.
that's it.
That's
I will just have 2 of the same sweater. It's fine.
That is a level of disgusting cute coupleness that people are accustomed to in this day and age. That's normal.
So that's my delightful future plans is photos of matching sweaters.
Yep, good plan, good plan. Well, you and I will have to get photos of us in our 8 bits. But I mean,
yes.
you're not coming back to the fall, so I've got time.
Probably, yeah. I think everybody mostly is planning on coming and visiting me over the summer. Plus, we're buying a house at some point, so I don't know how that's gonna go.
I have no idea what your family plans on doing.
I have no idea.
Privy to their schedules. I don't know.
I don't know either. We'll find out. I'll find out when they show up on my doorstep. I'll be like, oh, how'd you get here? Where'd you come from? Guess I need to make you a bed now, hey?
So I am the wrong human to ask because I have no idea what your family plans.
I also don't know, so
it's more of a problem for you, ma'am.
Anyway, Steinkrieger sweaters, many of them.
Many of them. Oh yeah, because you'll have to make it for the photos to happen. Your best bet is to get
I'm only doing
done.
one this month, for the record. One is happening this month for the photo shoot at Blue Mountain. The other one is happening later sometime.
I'd probably suggest get it started shortly so you've got time to put it down when it gets real hot and you're almost done. That would make the most amount of sense for you, given weather patterns and stuff.
It's going to heat up real fast at the end of February around these parts.
You're not going to want to work on it for very long.
We've got above 0 highs regularly forecasted in 2 weeks. So,
oh Lord, we have snow and minus, I don't know, something today. It was chilly outside.
Well, we have minus cold warning right now. So, well, for overnight, not right now.
I didn't pay that much attention to the weather today. I put on a coat and went outside and did my stuff. I had to take garbage. It was exciting.
Grilling.
My life is nothing but thrills. I don't know what you're talking about. All right, do I want to talk about my hat or do I want to talk about my other sweater?
Oh, sweaters. Sweaters all the way.
Sweaters? Okay.
It's got to be
So,
sweaters.
many of you may know, because I talk about it a lot, me and Louise are doing our second annual 2-week sweater challenge. Kicked it off on Thursday. I went in going, am I going to make a black and gold stripy crochet cardigan? It's the slouchy striped cardigan. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a baggy striped cardigan. No shocker there. The other option was a striped slouchy boyfriend sweater. So a knit cardigan, a shapely boyfriend style, done in striped colors because I don't have enough of one color, but I had enough across 3 colors for yardage in my size, like full on my chest size, so I could even do it up and close the button band and everything.
Nice.
Or do I continue on with the original thought, which was the Dreamy Weave cardigan, which I also have the yarn for? I put it to a vote because when in doubt, don't make the decision yourself, crowdsource.
Crowdsourcing is amazing.
Really help. Well, even if you don't go with what the crowd says, getting other people's opinions helps you define your own. So like crowdsourcing opinions makes so much sense to me because it just helps define the borders of what you're thinking a lot better. Or at least it does for me. At least it does. Could be wrong. Oh my God, I'm in the middle of a row. Of course I am. So why wouldn't I be in the middle of a row? Whoops, let's punch the microphone.
Can't make it through an episode without at least one microphone punch.
At least. So for its second time on the needles, because I've already had to rip it out because I made some big mistakes. I have the raglan increases almost finished on a stripy shape.
That looks so good.
Cardigan. So we're a little bunched on the needles, but I'm going dark like a charcoal gray to a light gray to a teal. And then obviously repeating that color pattern all the way down the sweater.
I love it. It looks so good.
Literally scrap impeccable thread yarn I have hanging around, just random 1-off balls. Well, 2-off balls to get the right color ratio. So the button band will be in charcoal and the hem will be in charcoal and the cuffs will be in charcoal, but the light gray and the teal will stripe throughout the body of the sweater. So it is massive because right now I have my shoulders on here. I've got my back increases going on in here. So it's in that really complicated, messy stage where there's just, the rows are epic. They're just epic. They take so long because you're 2/3 done your shoulder increases and you're like, oh, why haven't I split for sleeves yet?
Yeah.
I'm at that stage. So, that's a thing. So it's a V-neck boyfriend cardigan. I don't make 1 increases. They're very difficult for me with my vision. So I do knit front back, which means I always have a little line and a little space and hole in my raglan section.
Yeah, that's fine.
So they're not an invisible increase, but for me, it's an increase I can do that creates a small hole, not a large hole. So that is what I do. So that's fun. It's also been interesting to remember to change every 2 inches. So I get paranoid and start watching and seeing the color change between this teal and this charcoal is not the easiest thing I've ever had to do. But that's okay. So this is the second time I've been here on this. So since Thursday, I have knit this specific section twice because I can read and follow instructions.
Ah, yes. So good. Listen. You do it twice?
Listen. English is my native language. It's my native language. Sometimes you can read a pattern and you think to yourself, what? This is a free pattern, so you guys can get this story. I read my setup rows, so cast it on for my size, and I'm making the largest size, the 52 inch bust, so I can do the buttons up. But
Mhm.
so like the girls are. So even though it's a shapely cardigan with air quotes, it's not going to be shapely on me because the rest of me is much smaller than my chest. Um, I read my increase rows. No problem, right? Do your raglan increases. I understood the words raglan. I understood the words increases. I understood the format they wanted me to do because they want you to knit to 2 before the stitch marker, make an increase, pass, knit to stitch marker, pass it over, knit to, do your increase, right? Standard
Yeah.
raglan increases. On the next
Mhm.
section down, it says at the same time, you're going to do your neckline increases. Swear to you guys, it took me 40 minutes or something close to figure out she means do your raglan increases to row 33 because she tells you in brackets that that's 33 rows when you're done your repeats and how many
Mhm.
stitches you should have. And in the next section under the warning that you'll be doing neckline increases at the same time you'll be doing your raglan increases, she writes it out row by row for that last section of increases while you're doing the neckline increases. So you do them properly to your size, right? I could not figure out how to start this sweater because my brain didn't grasp the idea that you have to knit rows 1 to 33 and then you can knit row 34.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Critical Role was not that engrossing. It was just not, guys, they went to a ball. There was a lot of talking and walking and dancing and hijinks, so it was fun, but it wasn't like a life or death battle situation. Like I wasn't on the edge of my seat. But I could not for the life of me figure out I had to knit to row 33 and then I could do the neckline, and all because at the start of that warning it didn't go once you've reached row 33 then you'll be doing your raglan and neck increases at the same time. I was literally missing a sentence of warning to do the first section before I moved to the second section.
Oh. Huh. We are pro knitters, podcasters. We're so good at what we do.
How do you what knitting? How? What?
How
Jeez.
to knitting. Oh goodness.
Oh my god, you guys. I felt so smart. I felt so smart. No, you've already sat up here and played baby. You're fine.
She doesn't think so.
It's back. No, seriously, guys, while we were making show notes, I was holding her like she was a small child again.
It's just a little tail that comes in and out of frame.
She's walking back and forth trying to catch my attention. Yes, I love you very much, kitten. But you're not coming up here. You're not coming up. Ah!
She'll lay on your feet and take up the entire blanket.
That's fun. That's why my feet are tucked in the corner. They're prepared for it. Like, I'm going to finish this. Get off of me. I'm going to finish this row so that I can, not be in the middle of my row. It's even a purl row. Like, what am I doing? Having a moment. That is what I'm doing. I'm having a moment. All right. You're up again, my dear.
Oh, am I? Okay. Well, since I didn't have massive sweater progress this week, I reinstated my need to knit at least a few rows on that knit along that we're running for our 5th anniversary of podcasting.
Yeah, that I'm going to have to panic knit in March. Yeah, I'm with you. You.
Yeah. So you're doing your standard thing and you'll finish the thing, and that's great. And I'm
Not
trying
always,
a new thing where I do
but sometimes.
I'm trying a new thing where I do a little bit each week, and so I have less to panic on and not finish.
Okay.
Anyway, so I did like 4 rows. It's great progress. It's getting a little bit bigger, so it's a little bit harder to show off properly now. Let's hold it up. There we go. So this is my maple leaf shawl out of this lovely brown and gray yarn that is silk and merino and lovely and soft. It's so soft. I want this to be done already. Can I just like snap my fingers and it'll be done? and then I can just wear it because it's going to be
No.
amazing.
Yes, you just need to do the work.
I don't want to do the work. I just want to have the thing. So yarn is from Cloud9 Fiberworks. The colorway was Winchester brackets Dean. No, I have not watched Supernatural yet. Yes, I will get there eventually. Probably not before I finish this shawl.
There's many seasons of that show.
I definitely won't finish it before I finish the shawl. I'm going for maybe I will start it maybe before I finish the shawl. Emphasis on maybe.
Maybe. I was like, and you're so busy. You're so busy. Technically, you're supposed to be done the shawl by the end of March. And I'm like, I don't think you have time to start a new TV show.
No, not
April.
unless I can knit this while I watch that TV show.
Probably not.
And I don't think that I can because it's lace.
And the show will be engrossing. You'll start watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not like rerun for you.
Anyway, so that's all living in the coffee bag that also sent me that I'm very excited about.
Nice.
Maple and coffee. Because maple coffee is delicious. Maple in anything is delicious. Let's be honest. Maple is the superior syrup.
No.
No? What's a superior syrup then?
Maple is not a superior syrup. Maple's a fine syrup, but it's not a superior syrup.
Okay, what's the superior syrup then?
I tend to use guava syrup. And if it's pancakes, I use pancake syrup.
But maple.
No.
Why? Hair. I know this doesn't show up on camera, but I'm battling with a 4-foot long hair.
I'm sorry, you're the one with 4 feet length hair. What do you want?
I know. Why do I do that to myself?
I don't know.
Why do I do these things? Why do I think that's a good thing? Oh, wait.
You're highly addicted to your hair? Attached to your hair. You're highly attached to your hair.
By definition, yes, I am in fact attached to my own hair.
I do not need your literal ways here, ma'am. It's not required. You don't appreciate this. Today is not the day.
But yes, emotionally, I'm attached to my hair as well.
And I am not the one. Do not do this to me today. Oh my God.
Mr. Diana has been dropping so many horrible dad jokes the last week and a half because like it's the thing in his work Slack right now, and I've just been inundated with horrible dad humor, and it's starting to rub off, and I'm sorry.
I dated his brother for nearly 5 years, and you didn't see an increase in puns. I knew how to hold that in. I knew how to not do that.
I very much become an average of the 5 people I spend the most time with, as the saying goes. So if there is an increase in puns,
Oh yeah,
there's an increase in puns.
There's an increase in puns. That's fair. Dad jokes are awful, and they will not leave your head.
No, they really don't.
They really don't leave your head. They're just stuck in there forever.
Taking up space, rent-free somehow.
Ugh. But there's more important things to remember. Not that you will, because there's dad jokes in there. Ugh.
I know, like they just get in there and they stay, and
it's the worst. It's the worst.
Trying to memorize pattern repeats and can't because there's a dad joke in the way.
In there. Yeah. Just, see, now I'm just picturing little cartoon characters to say dad joke running amok in your brain.
Very much like Inside Out. What do dad jokes look like in Inside Out?
I have no idea. Or cells
I want to
at
see
work.
that now. Oh my God, yeah.
Oh goodness, I have no idea. But there you go. That's where my brain went. Jeez. Oh well. All right. I'm up again.
Indeed you are.
All right. The last thing I have been making slow and incremental progress on is because, quite frankly, I cannot do bulky and worsted weight sweater knitting all the time. My wrist actually starts to hurt after a while because it's a lot of weight on your wrist. I have making bits and bits and bits of progress towards a hat. Why? I don't know. I don't wear them, but I'm making one. So here we are.
Somebody's getting a hat. We get to watch the hat.
I am making progress on my everyday slouchy beanie. I have now turned and folded my brim, so now it'll make sense to Diana.
Ah, okay.
So now the
Cute.
brim is folded and attached. So there's that, and now I'm making my way up the desired number of inches from the brim before I start decreasing in the round. Now, did I add extra stitches in to make this slouchy? No. Because I hate slouchy beanies even more than I hate hats. But I liked the no brim and I liked the look, and I knew so long as I didn't add the extra stitches in after the brim like they requested, wouldn't be as slouchy, which would drive me less crazy. So that's what I did.
Okay.
I look at hat patterns, and some hat patterns are beautiful, but I just don't wear hats. So, big done.
We're so awake today.
Oh, so not awake today. So my progress
It's too late in the day
paper
for coffee.
is down here because I had to do a little bit more knitting before my brim got folded up, and I've made all that progress.
Nice.
So this is what I work on like in the morning while I'm watching and like listening to the radio after breakfast before I start my day, or in the evening when I'm watching the National or something. Like this is what I work on just to give my wrists and my hands a bit of a break from the weight of the heavier sweaters. So this is some Fireweed Fiber Co yarn. It's actually the same colorway yarn that Mr. Diana has on his feet. So that's a thing. So slow incremental progress on that is made. I've got a ways to go before I have to worry about decreases or anything. So that is okay. But that is my break knitting. All of my projects are on Chowgu red laces at different millimeter sizes, because to get gauge and pattern on a fingering weight hat, I had to go to 4 millimeter to
So that lace shawl that I'm knitting, yeah, that's on a 4 millimeter. Okay.
Yep. The worsted weight sweater is on a 6 millimeter to get gauge. Most people knit worsted weight sweaters on like a 4 millimeter, guys.
I'm knitting this bulky one on a 6 mil.
Bulky on a 6 mil?
Yeah.
I have it's 8 millimeters. It's an 8 millimeter size needle for me to get gauge on the Skein Krieger.
I mean, I didn't like actually. Yeah, I'm hitting the microphone. I mean, I didn't actually, to be fair, I didn't actually check my gauge. I just sort of like eyeballed it as I started and went, yeah, that's close enough. So I don't know, like it's working. It's working just fine.
I did a gauge swatch.
I didn't do a gauge swatch.
I followed instructions.
I did a bit of math, and I worked out that there is no way I'm going to get a sweater that is too small to fit. So I just
feel like this aspect of us describes our D&D characters perfectly.
You're the one with the plan, and I'm the one with no plan, and I'm the one just winging it.
I'm the one who plays like good, lawful good characters, and you play chaotic neutral at best.
Yeah, pretty much. I could like maybe see my way to like a neutral good. Lawful is pretty much out of the question.
Whereas I could do a lawful good. I tend to play good, but I could do lawful good. I just like right here, this swatch, no swatch of us for the same sweater, that just, yeah, that sums us up real well.
Well, I don't care if it's too big, and if I make it exactly to pattern, it's going to be kind of too big anyway. So if it comes out a bit small, like there's lots of wiggle room, it's fine. If it comes out small, like several inches smaller than the pattern says, that's still okay.
Whereas my brain went, you're supposed to gauge swatch, so I gauge swatched, because that's what you're supposed to do.
I like living on the edge. We'll see what size it turns out after I wash it.
Yep.
It could be huge. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Whatever, the fabric's nice.
That's important.
And it's definitely not going to be too small.
No. Well, if the pattern's only a large, extra large, and 2 extra large for size range, that's the sizes it gives you.
It is definitely not going to be too small. So I really wasn't worried about it.
That's fair. Well, that's it for me. That's all I have for knitting. I keep meaning to cast on a sock, It's wound, it's in the bag, it's ready to go. It has a needle. I just literally have not sat down to cast it on.
I
2
was
weeks
going
running.
to wind yarn
2
and
weeks
cast on
running.
a sock this week, and I got as far as pulling some colors and taking some votes on Instagram,
I saw that.
and I still have not wound anything. I wound up things. There were like 4 things that got the same number of votes. 3 things got the same number of votes. So I'm just gonna wind all 3 and do whatever one I feel.
Do a Jocelyn sock, because you've done a Diana sock.
Oh, this is going to be a vanilla sock because I need some vanilla
sock.
desk knitting for meetings. At the moment, I can do sleeves, but when the sleeves are done, I cannot color work and meeting. I'm going to need some vanilla knitting.
I was watching Erin knit because she took, I think it was her Valentine's Day sock set that she did. Might not have been the colorway I was looking at, but she had a mini. She can obviously just dye herself more yarn if she made the yarn, right? So she was literally taking her variegated sock yarn and then striping the mini in along the foot of the sock. So she just made stripes, and I was like, nope, that's gonna happen. So I wound up the January Sock Club colorway, and I've got minis. So I've got, because I don't use minis and socks. I buy sock sets, but I keep the minis for other things. So I have more than one mini that's the same color as a contrast color in the pink from the January Sock Club. And I've got 2 yellow that'll be really nice, strong contrast against the January colors as well. So I'm going to use the pink yellow variegated, and I'm going to make striped socks. Yeah, it's still vanilla knitting. You're just changing every 2 inches.
Striped socks is blowing my brain right now.
Yeah, you just change
Obviously,
every 2 inches.
you can stripe in your minis.
Yep. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's still vanilla knitting, so it's still no more thinking than a vanilla sock. So
that's
I
so smart.
Just need to cast it on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. What am I waiting for? I don't know. I don't know what I'm waiting for, guys. But here we are.
Well,
still haven't done it. Sweater
my
knitting.
next vanilla socks might be striped.
I'm working on my sweater knitting like I'm supposed to. I have a challenge. There's a challenge. I have to win. I won last year. Winning, by the way, guys, is just having a finished sweater. It's not a competition between me and Louise.
Your prize is you have a finished sweater.
Our prize is we have a finished sweater. So, and I want this done so I can wear it. I want to do.
I'm starting to see how one could theoretically complete a sweater in 2 weeks.
Yes.
If I hadn't been so very distracted this past week, like I definitely would have had the sleeves done. So
it's
like
not an impossible
sweater
task.
in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I could see my way to a sweater in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
No, if it was
I'm not
plain.
saying for like fingering, because I'm never going to be able to manage that, but I'm trying worsted this year because I did bulky with the bad back last year.
Yeah.
So I should be able to do a worsted in 2 weeks and still do all of my other stuff I do every day. It's not an unreasonable goal. It's a bit of a goal. It's a bit of a stretch, but it's not unreasonable. It means I have to stay monogamous-ish. Still 3 projects, but you know what I mean.
Monogamous-ish. Yeah.
Well, there's no way I can work on the Skeen Trigger this week. It's got to be my heavier weight knitting has to be the striped shapely boyfriend for now. But I'm still going to work on the hat. And if I'm honest, guys, no, seriously, the cat was up at my neck earlier. It's like my nose is so itchy. She has settled down and gone to sleep at my feet, so at least there's that. Diana can tell you it was cat everywhere.
There was a lot of cat going on.
Anyway, and I'll definitely cast on that sock, I think, if I need to cast on something just to alleviate the itch that is casting on things. But there we go. I really just want to be done these shoulders. So hard to get past the shoulders. Either way, like bottom up or top down, it's that shoulder section.
I'm kind of over 2 at a time sleeves right now.
You usually get that way about just before the elbow. Do you know when you love 2 at a time sleeves again? When you're
When they're
done.
both done at the same time.
And you know you never have to pick up another sleeve. It's not like finishing a sleeve and then realizing you have a second sleeve. You're done. It's the same with socks, 2 at a time socks. Like some are about 2/3 the way up the foot. I'm like, oh God, 2 at a time socks. But oh, it feels so nice to just be done both socks at the same time. So nice.
Struggle. This cord is not long enough anymore for the width that the sleeves are.
Oops.
Oh well.
That'll hamper. Okay, I finally not in the middle of a row. Okay, so now I can put this down because my wrist is actually quite hurting. I've got the 3 balls. So I've got the charcoal gray, the teal, and the light gray literally shoved under the computer screen because they fit there. I might actually leave them there while I'm finishing these increases because my computer screen is also my pattern screen. So I'll be here doing that anyway. And then once it's at the body, it can go live in the living room because then I'm just striping body increments till I'm done.
Seems like a plan.
We're on to wool gathering.
Yeah, it is time for the unscripted Patreon ad. Woo.
It is.
If for some reason you want to financially support these shenanigans, you may do so at patreon.com/Northern Knits Podcast. Any level of support gets you access to our patrons only Discord server, where we are active at all hours of the day and the night. I lurk, and then people post pretty things or challenges and go, hey, Diana, you should do this. And then I go, yeah, okay. And then realize that I've made terrible mistakes, but it's too late. I've committed.
No, she will tell us no. It's just not often.
I am easily persuaded, especially when it comes to knitting.
I
think I agreed to do some colorwork sock knit-alongs later this year.
Well,
I don't even know when that is.
Lattes and Llamas geek along this year.
Yeah.
Is colorwork.
When is that?
Socks.
That's in summer, isn't it?
We actually have to go look that up because we really need to know those details. And I don't remember off the top of my head.
What else? There's early access to bonus content.
Yeah.
Bi-weekly Experimental Tuesday blog posts. I guess they're weekly, but we switch weeks, so they're bi-weekly. There's one blog post every week, alternating between the two of us.
Oh, that was convoluted.
That was a lot of words. And at the higher tiers of support, we've got our monthly knit in, which is just hang out and show us what you're knitting so we don't have to talk so much. It's nice for me anyway. I like lurking. It's my happy place.
It is your happy place.
The next one of those is happening on February the 19th.
Yep, it's coming Saturday.
That is this coming up Saturday. Wow. At noon Manitoba time. And we have also added a quarterly movie watch party to educate me in 90s pop culture movies.
Well,
or at least that's where we're starting.
Any movie.
It doesn't have to be 90s pop culture movies. It's just the first one we're watching is The Mummy, and that's coming up the following Saturday, the 26th.
Yes, it is.
Also at noon Manitoba time.
Well, it's a good time for the group we've got, so.
I think that's all the Patreon stuff.
For the moment, yeah. Shall I do some cows?
Yeah, we've got some of those.
Let's talk knit-alongs. All right, we are literally smack dab in the middle of the podcast anniversary along. It is the 5th edition as we celebrate 5 years of podcasting this coming March. The rules and regulations are pretty much the same as usual. Adult-sized items count 3 skeins or more in your weight class for it to keep it as roughly as even as we can imagine. Obviously, if you're not terribly sure, please feel free to send me a message and I will let you know if it counts or not. The other rules are the qualifying words in the pattern name and or color of yarn you pick, ideally wood themed. Maple leaves come from trees, therefore it counts. We're not being strict about the wood theme, guys. If it's wood adjacent, we've said yes.
Yep. Anything wood.
I think I even said yes to somebody who asked if the designer's name could have like like a wood last name, and I was like, yeah, no, that counts. It's fine. Like we're not being strict about
Just
this.
it can be pretty distantly related.
Yeah, so long as it's related-ish, it's fine. And you also have the option of using modern gift-giving ideas. Since wood is a traditional 5th anniversary present, you could also use silverware, daisies, the gemstones. Like, you've got options. Just check with me. You have until the end of March to get everything in. We collect entries on Instagram and on Facebook. So when you post, please use the hashtag. If you don't know how to spell the hashtag for podcast anniversary, don't worry. Diana's got you covered in the show notes. She's got it there for you. This way we can find you guys so that we can share some of these fabulous prizes with you guys. We have currently 2 skeins of yarn from Erin from Fibre Co. that she kindly donated for us to have to give it to you guys. And don't worry, she's not letting me mail them.
Because the mail has gremlins.
Oh, we both know better. But I'm allowed to hang on to them until we give them away. So we have these 2 beauties up. So that's for two separate winners. And then we have a bag, a knitting bag, again, because we know better. We don't let Jocelyn mail anything. Tracy still has the knitting bag. She will send it to the winner. And then for fun, we are inviting a winner to come join us on Discord for 6 months to sort of experience some of the Patreon perks for free, because like all good enablers, first taste is free. See if you also enjoy the community. I started spinning because I made a friend with a woman named Jocelyn.
We're very easily enabled into things.
Does not take much, guys. It does not take much.
Ooh, don't mind me. I'm gonna raise this a little because I keep hitting it, and I'm so sorry. It'll be in frame. Just don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
So while that's going on, we are also gearing up to start our first of our seasonal cals. So these knit alongs, craft alongs, make alongs, you can crochet, you could weave something, you could quilt something. You know me and Diana are going to count it if it's theme appropriate. You know we are. You know we are. We're telling you we will. The more the merrier. So for the spring cal, it is a spring equinox cal. We're going to give a hashtag. Well, actually, you guys can go check out the post. I put the post on YouTube. I did it on Instagram. I did it in the Facebook group. It's all the places, which has all the rules, which is beautiful because it means going forward, if I remember to do the post, I'm just going to direct you guys to the post so we don't have to listen to me say everything for 3 months solid. It gets to be a drag, guys.
I'll link to the post in the show notes even.
That would be wonderful. Could you do that? That'd be great. It's spring themed, so I kid you not, there's the kind and wonderful Sherry found some links for you guys to help gear you and inspire you into the direction of what a spring cal would look like. I'm going to work on the tank top, but I'm also going to be working on other things. Thank you, Sherry, because those links are dangerous.
I've got to look at this list of links. I need to be enabled.
There's a crochet flower watering can that's got little spring creatures in it. So it's a stuffy. It's a fairy house, but it's shaped like a little watering can that you would like go water your flowers with. And there's a mushroom one, so I'm like, well, that's gotta happen. That's gotta happen. There's a couple of garments that's gotta happen. There's Stardew Valley socks in there. Those
okay, that might have to happen.
Like, cool.
Get specific colors for that though. Okay.
I don't know. I haven't looked. I looked at the link and went, well, you're going to happen. It's not going to worry about too much because I'm going to go looking through my minis to find colors for the color work if they're not big sections. Then I just need to find a color for the main body, like the main color.
Yeah, that's so smart.
You're welcome.
Okay.
I wasn't born yesterday. It was the day before. So we get geared up for that and all of that's going on. I haven't looked at pricing. We haven't even gotten that far. It's going to start on the 20th of March and it's going to run for 3 months. And then we'll jump right into the summer equinox cal. The big things about this one, well, it's still adult-sized garments, guys, or adult-sized shawls, adult-sized, like adult. There's no skein requirement. So you want to make the little bumpkin bunnies for your mantle, you can totally do that.
I'm so into this. Also, I think you said summer equinox, but isn't it? It's the summer solstice, right? Spring
Summer
equinox,
solstice.
summer solstice.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sometimes I mix my words around, and that's all on me, not on you guys. So summer solstice, we're starting with the spring equinox. So that is how that works. So hopefully everyone gets excited like we are and gets ready to do that. So good. So good. It's almost the middle of February, which means we're almost at the end of February, which means we have to show off the February sock club yarn soon. Da, da, da. Next week, I'd imagine, because then it's the tail end of the month. So that'll be good. We'll show that off. What else we got? Ooh, as always, we do have a permanent coupon code link with Erin, who's Fireweed Fiber Co. You can save 10% off on your purchases if you use Northern Knits 10.
Yes, Northern Knits 10.
So wonderful.
Also in the show notes.
Always in the show notes, guys. It's a thing. But that's it. That's what we got.
I have an acquisition.
You do. I do not. You do. Mine's in the mail. Trust me, I will show off the Swift, guys. When it gets here, I will show it off. It'll have already been in use.
Oh, did I muck that up? Oh, I did. I forgot to do an increase, and now I have to knit back across the other sleeve. Okay, well, that's a after this problem. So I got enabled into subscribing to a bi-monthly Stitchers club. So I am now getting stitching projects in the mail from my local fabric store.
Good.
Every other month.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I definitely know that I like stitching projects.
You don't, but
anyway,
I feel like you need to start learning now.
The first one came. It is gorgeous and I really want to start it. But I have a sweater to knit. Anyway, so it's this thing. It's a choose your own celestial adventure. Oh, this beautiful multi-layered, I'm reading the back right now, multi-layered screen printed pattern is a stylized map of the mythological figures that illuminated ancient skies. A perfect beginner or intermediate project whose generous size will be striking in any room. The kit comes with all of the floss to stitch as much or as little as you want. So there's the beginner mode where you stitch only the stars in the constellations and let the screen printed illustrations shine through on their own. Or for an intermediate project, a lengthy but relatively easygoing option which uses over a dozen basic stitches to embroider each constellation, as shown in the cover image. And this kit includes everything except scissors, like literally everything else that you could possibly need. And then also, aside from a bunch of stickers and like a bookmark and stuff, I got this cute little needle threader. Is it going to focus? There we go.
Yep, there we go.
So
I wish I could do that. I wish I could do that.
So that's super cute. So far, very happy with the Stitch Club from Spool and Spindle.
I wish I could do
throw that link in the show notes as well.
Yeah, let's support local. Do it. Do it.
Absolutely. I have not started that whatsoever. But you know, it'll start eventually. It'll start eventually.
I haven't started my Witchy Stitcher kit. Is that going to stop me from buying more? No. No. Not even remotely.
Buying crafts and doing them are two different hobbies. Everybody knows this by this point, I think.
I hope so. If not, and you're worried, don't. It's two separate hobbies.
Buying the stuff and using the stuff are different things. Same thing goes for books. Buying them and reading them, two different hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine the same thing probably goes for clothes too. If you're like really into fashion and stuff, buying them, wearing them, two different things.
Two different things. Shoe collecting. There's a lot. Board games.
Yeah. There's definitely some board games in our collection that I've never played.
Yep. I have some board games here I've never played because they require more than one human, and I never have more than one human who doesn't come with his own game collections. Human.
Well, next time I will make sure I do not come with any of my own game collection.
You and I are so busy when you're here, and your time is so limited.
That's true.
Yeah. It is okay. All right. Though that means we're on to books.
It does indeed. What is going on here? Nobody knows. Nobody knows what's going on anymore. Okay, tinking back one more stitch so that I can do this increase because I cannot do the increase. Let's do the increase.
Grumble pants. Grumble pants.
What?
Grumble
pants?
Grumble pants.
Oh, grumble pants. Okay, there we go. Did the thing. Okay, books. Yeah. I feel like I did a lot of reading this week and still only finished. Well, I actually finished a book. And I didn't pick up any new books. So that's progress. So the one I finished was the second book in the Gaslight Mystery series of novels.
Yes.
Yes. Murder at St. Mark's Place. I'm reading them backwards now from 3. So it was cute. They're so cute. All the way through. So for the 2 that I have read, I have known this is more or less the solution to the murder about halfway through the book.
Mm-hmm.
But the characters are so cute. The 2 main characters, I just can't. Like, I just care so much about them.
Yeah, no, you're not going to stop reading it because you care about the characters all the way through.
I care so much about the characters.
My favorite thing about the murder series is the 2 main characters. Even though, yes, I figure out who's murdered well before they have. But that's not the point. The point is I'm invested in them.
The point is they're adorable.
I'm invested in them.
And I want good things for them. So I already know that I'm going to read the entire series eventually because I care about these characters. And it's just nice, easy, light reading, which is nice sometimes.
One of the series comes out this month. I'm going to have to double check.
There's something like 20 some odd books in this series.
Yeah. Well, the next one's released in 2022, and it's 2022. I just don't remember what month this year it's released in. So those have been a nice break from Dune and The Name of the Wind. So Dune is this month's book club book. Mm-hmm.
Book club's on Tuesday.
Yep. You put off reading it again, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So I'm not even halfway done. I'm approximately a third.
What is it, 2 years into this club now? You still can't figure out.
Hey, it's not even been a whole year yet, thank you.
Stop procrastinating with it.
Well, that's okay. Last month's book was The Name of the Wind, and I still haven't finished that, but I was reading it this week while I was listening to it on my drive to and from Toronto this weekend. And I still have like 6 or 8 hours left.
It wasn't last month, wasn't it? No, December was Rat Queens, wasn't it?
Yeah, January was Name of the Wind. And I still haven't finished it.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not good at finishing books, but I finished one and I'm going to hang on to that. Anyway, Dune is much better as a book than a movie, I think, because it allows for all of the explanations of all of the subtle subterfuge that's going on and the exposition, and we can just switch character references so we know what's going on. And like, now that I know the source material, they did a heckin' good job of filming it, but it's still, I think, impossible to film it such that you actually fully understand what's going on because everything's just so subtle. It's all like hand signs and like, because you said this thing, I know this other thing now.
Yeah, no. It's a problem with adaptations for some books, is there's just so much that you can't have explained in a movie format.
On the plus side, I have managed to read up basically to the end of the stuff that they put in the movie that got released last year. Last year?
Section
Yeah.
1.
Yeah. So I've read the movie source material now, so everything I'm reading now is like, ooh, this is new.
Okay. That's
So
what I
like
do.
I'm really into it now.
Okay. You are not finishing 2 sections by Tuesday.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. But I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do my best.
That's fair.
It's a very chill sort of book club, and like generally only about half the people have actually finished the book, so I'm not worried about it.
All right, that works. Great pants.
And
Is that
yeah,
it for
Name
you
of the Wind.
books? Name of the Wind, Dune.
Yeah.
And
Name of the Wind, Dune,
Murder
and
at Mark's.
St. Mark's. Yeah, Murder at whatever the place was this time.
St. Mark's. I think St. Mark's. Yeah, book 2, St. Mark's.
Yeah, somebody was telling me the Name of the Wind gets really good after you cross the halfway point, and yes, it does. Now that I've finally crossed the halfway point, now I'm just like, I want to get back to it. It's like things are happening. Let's go.
Yes. Well, the Name of the Wind has got a lot of setup.
It's a slow burn, but I feel like it's going to have a high payoff.
Oh, I'm not going to tell you. You haven't finished reading it yet.
Well, yeah, I know, but yeah. Anyway, also side note, the narrator for The Name of the Wind, at least the Audible version, so good. He's got accents for everybody.
Everybody?
Yeah,
Excellent.
like if it mentions that somebody is from a different ethnic background than the main character, like they just get randomly assigned a new accent, and it's so cool.
Excellent. Well, that's the way it should be.
Okay, that's my books.
That's your books?
That's my books.
So on my Libby app on my phone, the Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern came up, and I put it on hold. So I got it. I'm literally 5 minutes in. Can't tell you anything about it yet. I'm 5 minutes in. I'm still being introduced to the characters, people. And I wasn't to read heavy. Like I have the Galaxy game still to finish listening to too, and I haven't finished that. I've been watching Critical Role, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, but I haven't wanted to consume anything more in depth that I haven't already consumed before. Whatever, we're used to me doing this. There'll be weeks where I read like 4 or 5 books and I do nothing but read books, and then there's a couple of weeks where I don't read at all.
Yeah. Perfectly
normal. For the Nerd Book Club here in Winnipeg, I got Mouse. It's a physical book, guys, that I'm holding up. It's Adult Book Club Kit. I have copy number 3. So the book club that I'm in, one of the ladies who helps with everything saw that there's a library kit for this. And apparently, because it's been banned in Tennessee, we have to read it. So I am going to be reading this, and I am not looking forward to it because it's a physical print, which means it is going to be very hard for me, and it's going to be taxing on my eyeballs. I am not stoked.
Well, I hope the content proves to be interesting at least.
So do I. But as we said before we started, just because critics like it doesn't mean we will.
Fair.
So we will see. But I will give it a chance, and I will give it a shot, and I will give it a read. I've never been that, oh, well, it's banned somewhere, therefore I should read. Like, that's never been a reason for me to read a book, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm still upset that I couldn't find easily that one book I wanted to get today, which was Growing Up in the Ice Age, guys. About Paleolithic childhood, which is after the dinosaurs, but before Diana's born.
I'm beginning to regret revealing how my brain works.
So good. So good.
I have regrets.
I have regrets.
Okay, but where does it fit in with like the World Wars? Is that like before or after the World Wars?
Before the
okay.
Wars.
Okay. After the dinosaurs, before the World Wars, there was the Ice Age. Got it.
The Ice Age, yep. Somewhere in there it happened. So I was listening to the Ideas podcast, and the lady who wrote the book was delivering a talk about being a child in the Paleolithic, which is her area of focus and study, hence the talk and the book she wrote being about growing up in the Ice Age. So I'm trying to track down a digital copy so I can read it, because fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating. I want to read. So that's a thing. that I want to do if I can find a copy. We'll see. We'll see.
Look, apparently it's a difficult book to find.
Oh wow, it's not available as an audiobook, so just increases the difficulty for me. But it's not been a heavy read week for me. No, not.
I have finished one thing.
So much.
Maybe I'll read more this next week.
Yeah, that's fair.
Got a lot of sweater in it.
Oh, so much sweater knitting.
I haven't even watched any of the Critical Role yet. Like,
what? Who are
I know.
you?
I know. It's because I went into Toronto and it took up all of my watching Critical Role and Vox Machina time.
That's what we should do now that we're done recording. We should do an outro.
I need to eat dinner first because I haven't done that yet, and it's 8:00 at night.
You go have dinner. I'm going to have dinner. We should watch Vox Machina tonight. Or a game on a farm. One of those things should happen.
One of these things should happen.
All right. Well, in which case,
after food.
After food. And until later, for you guys here watching us, I will say until next week, I'm Jocelyn.
And I'm Diana.
And no matter where your week takes you, don't forget to knit.